Many parents know that taking pills can be a real nightmare for some children. Even many adults have trouble swallowing medication. Difficulty in swallowing medication can have huge implications for a child's health and for a family's stress level. Especially in families already challenged by life-threatening illnesses, the added problem of getting the life-saving treatment into their child represents an enormous emotional burden. Over the last 5 years, my students and I have developed and tested a new method for teaching pill swallowing. The new method involves learning to swallow with one's head in different positions, which makes it easier for medication to go down. It's surprising to people to swallow with their head in any position other than center, so it takes practice. The technique typically requires only 30 minutes to learn, followed by 2 weeks of that daily practice, usually just 5 minutes a night, using candy. The approach has been completely successful in the group of children willing and physically able to try it. Some children are too ill to follow the practice. We think children could also learn from watching this video, rather than having to be trained by healthcare staff individually. This is all you need to get started: a glass of water and some candies. Make sure the candies are heavier, hard candies, not the gummy ones or very light ones that are used in cake decorating. We often use miniature M&Ms or Tic Tacs. Let's begin with some information. All you need to know is the following. The tube that goes from your mouth to your stomach is called the esophagus, and it is much wider than any pill you would ever have to swallow. Let's compare one of the candies to the size of the esophagus. The esophagus is also very flexible, soft tissue. Stick your tongue in your cheek like this. Now remove it. See how easily the cheek flexes and then bounces back? So does your esophagus. That's why you are able to swallow bites of food that are much, much wider than the size of the esophagus that I've shown you. Now there's one other bit of information before we begin some swallowing. Everyone eats and swallows with their head center forward. But it turns out that when we swallow with our head turned to the side, there is a little spasm in the esophagus and it opens wider. I sometimes think I can hear it. Listen.
Did you hear it?
Now to the left. Excellent. We call that the noise. For that reason, we find that lots of people prefer swallowing pills with their head turned to the side. The esophagus opens up wider and the pill goes down more easily. But some people like to swallow with their head up. They say it is easier for the pill to slide down their throat, as if their tongue is a ski jump and it is a straight shot then down the hill and through the esophagus. And even other people like to swallow with their chin down because they say it is more relaxing in the neck. So the bottom line is, we need to find the most comfortable position for you, and that will take 2 weeks of homework. Want to know what the homework is? It's swallowing candy. Okay, now we are ready to try the positions. Let's begin with just water. So now we're going to practice just with water, okay? Shoulders back is very important. In fact, sometimes I ask the kids to do their homework standing up because when we sit, we kind of tend to slouch, okay? But you have very good posture. So let's try just sitting up, shoulders back. Would you take the water? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just watch you.
Okay.
Would you swallow some straight ahead? Just a small amount. Okay, you do that over 600 times a day, so I'm not surprised you're excellent at it. Now would you do it with your head to the right? Perfect. And I think I heard that lunk. Okay, now to the left. Excellent. And now up. Good. And now down. Good. You were an excellent model there too, Haley, because it is very important to get the water into your mouth before you assume the position, okay? And now let's try with a candy. You pick one out. Place the candy in your mouth, move it to the back of your tongue, and take a sip of water and assume your chosen position before swallowing.
Go down? Good.
How did that work? Let me tell you about the areas that sometimes cause a few problems. First of all, how is your posture? It's really important to have your shoulders back, and sometimes it's easier to avoid slouching if you practice standing up. Secondly, is the candy getting onto the back of your tongue? If not, let me teach you how ducks swallow. We call it the duck shake. Have you ever watched a duck swallow? Now maybe you don't need to shake your whole body, but it really helps to shake the candy to the back of your tongue, then assume your position and swallow. The third problem area sometimes is water. How much water are you using? Sometimes people think using more water is a good idea, but we find that especially for young children, too much water makes them lose control of the candy. It kind of floats into their cheeks. So try taking only a little sip of water. Okay, got that? Let's review. Place the candy on the back of your tongue, take a little sip of water, do the duck shake, assume your position, swallow. Do that every evening, one candy in each of the 5 positions. We have found that children change their preferred position over the course of 2 weeks, and so that's why we ask that they record what each one felt like. I think it's a good idea. It helps them pay attention to how it felt when they have to write it down. Here are the rating sheets that we use. Maybe you'll want to use something like them. The method of off-center swallowing can be taught and learned easily. 4 different studies with adults and children have proven that it works. Even 3/4 of the people with no problem swallowing pills at all told us that they found a position they liked better than the center position. Some children who have had bad experiences with swallowing pills may be understandably afraid to try this method. It must be emphasized that our studies have found that 14 days of repetition and practice are essential to success. Very few children get it on the first day. Once the effort is put in, most people are pleasantly surprised by how easy and effective this method is. One little 5-year-old girl was so proud of her results, she taught her entire kindergarten class. Others have told me they plan to study it as part of their science fair projects, and still others have taught their grandparents. We hope this method will make it easier for people of all ages to swallow medication with minimal discomfort and difficulty. We'd like to thank everyone who has been involved in this project for the last 5 years. That includes the students who did part of the work as their thesis topics and research topics, the clinic staff who helped us find volunteers, the 300 or 400 people in the city who did volunteer for our various studies, and of course the Alberta Children's Hospital Foundation who assisted us with funding. So now we're going to practice just with water, okay? Shoulders back is very important. In fact, sometimes I ask the kids to do their homework standing up because when we sit, we kind of tend to slouch, okay? But you have very good posture. So let's try just sitting up, shoulders back. Would you take the water? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to just watch you.
Okay.
Would you swallow some straight ahead? Just a small amount. Okay, you do that over 600 times a day, so I'm not surprised you're excellent at it. Now would you do it with your head to the right? Perfect. And I think I heard the okay. Now to the left. Excellent. And now up. Good. And now down. Good. You were an excellent model there too, Haley, because it is very important to get the water into your mouth before you assume the position, okay? Now there's one other trick I'm going to teach you before we put a candy in your mouth.
Okay.
Have you ever seen a duck swallow?
No.
Okay, well this is a funny thing. Now I'm going to teach you this, and next time you're down near the river, you'll watch the ducks, okay? The way ducks take their food is they dive into the water, and then they shake their whole head, and actually their whole body, to get it to the back of their throat and to shake it down. And we find, especially with children who are younger than you, that the duck shake helps them get the pill or the candy to the back of their throat. Very young children sometimes have trouble and the candy floats around in their mouths. So we're going to ask you to put the candy on the back of your tongue.
Okay.
But would you practice the duck shake for now?
Okay.
Okay, so you'll put it on the back of your tongue, put a little water in, do the duck shake. You don't have to wiggle your whole body.
Okay.
Okay? Do the duck shake, then assume whatever position you're going to do.
Okay.
And I want you to tell me ahead of time. I'm going to give you some more water.
Okay.
Okay, so take whatever candy you'd like to try first. Okay, nerds are a good one to practice with.
Okay.
Because they're hard and heavy and all that, but not too big.
Okay.
So I'm going to walk you through it.
Okay.
Put it on the back of your tongue. Okay. Now put a little water in. And then do the duck shake to make sure it's in the back. Now assume whatever position you're going to take. Okay, I forgot to tell you the last step.
Oh,
thumbs up or thumbs down? Great, okay. So you don't have to stick your tongue out at me and show me that it's not there. That's great. So would you do it again? Take whatever candy you'd like. Okay, which position will you do this time?
Left.
Okay, put it on the back of your tongue. Put a little water in. Do the duck shake. Okay, and go to the left. I could hear it. Thumbs up or down. Good. That's 2 successes in a row. That's wonderful. Could you feel it as it went down?
No.
Excellent. Okay. What position next?
Up.
Okay. Take a candy. Okay. Back of the tongue. A little bit of water. Duck shake. Thumbs up or down. Excellent. Take your choice. Okay, and now we have to do down. Okay, so put it on the back of your tongue. Okay, a little bit of water. Never too much. Good. Duck shake. Down. Thumbs up or down. Oh, didn't go.
No.
Put a little more water in and try it again. Okay. No? Or
no.
Did,
It went this time.
It went, okay, good. Okay, now your silly homework is actually a pretty serious matter.
Okay.
I mean, all the kids tell me how silly to eat candy is homework. They'd love to have that be their homework. But it is serious, and I'll tell you why. We find even in kids like you who've had a lot of success on the very first try, what you think is the best today is not necessarily the best for you in the long run. And it will take you 2 weeks of practice to figure out what position you really like. Okay, so I really, really want you to practice in a serious manner. You have to do each position and think about it and write down how you do.
Okay.
This is a sample score sheet, and you're going to have one for every night for 14 days. Okay. On the sample, this child named Jay already has the day filled in, fills in the date, and selects the candy. Okay. So you select your candy. This day, Jay selected Tic Tacs. And so let's say it's a girl. She used the Tic Tacs in all 5 positions that day. And they're selected ahead of time. You don't get to choose. Okay. So on day 1, it was left, then up, then center, then down, then right. Okay? Now notice this. Jay tried left first, and she didn't really like it a lot. But I guess it went down. If it hadn't gone down, she probably would have said didn't go down at all. Yeah. You can write me notes in there. Okay. Up, she liked a lot, didn't she? Center, she liked the best. Well, as I told you, we swallow more than 600 times a day in the center position, so that's not surprising. She did not like down. Right was pretty good, too. But I'll bet you that by day 14, this pattern will have changed. Okay. The most important thing is at the end of every day, I want you to really think, what position did you like the best? And write that down.
Okay.
And it'll be fun to see. If you're like most kids, the one that you write down the first day probably isn't going to be the one that you like the best at the end of 14 days. But we'll see, okay? And you'll come back and see me then. That's your homework. We're going to give you candy, but if you run out, I'll bet you know where to get more.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just went right along with it. He had some difficulty at first, but after 2 weeks of practice, twice a day, he's not had any trouble since. He's now able to take vitamin pills and Concerta, and any kind of medication that we give him now he can take.
Well, I was a little scared before, but then I kept on trying, even though it didn't go down much. And then after he tried a bit, then we just stopped, and then we kept on trying it for the other nights until some of them calmed down.
A lot of Alyssa's medications were sort of liquid-based, and they needed special care and refrigerated and all that. So even if we went out for the day, we'd have to come back at a specific time and make sure we took it with us. And just like food, it would spoil if it was out too long. So all these different things, issues came in. You know, it was tough to do holidays or go on a weekend or anything like that. And now it's just, you pack the pills and you go. It's really opened up a lot for us and opened up more opportunity for her for socialization and getting out.
Having gone to the course, she was able to teach me how to swallow pills because I used to choke on them or I had to chew them. So she taught me how to swallow too.
I didn't know how to swallow pills before, but now I do, so they taught me that. I took the course and it's very easy now for me to. It helps like kids who can't swallow, and I think it helps really good.
I think it's a really beneficial, worthwhile experience. Certainly it's been great for Evan.